I thought I understood what family meant. For 34 years, I believed blood ran deeper than anything else, that parents held equal love for every grandchild, that loyalty could not be broken. My son Leo spent weeks getting ready for Christmas at his grandparents' place, drawing cards with crayons, rehearsing songs in his small voice. Then my mother called. Her tone was icy firm, absolute. "No children at the gathering this year," she announced. "Not even Leo." My heart sank. Yet I had no clue this was only the start of learning how insignificant I truly was to those I had given everything for. Before we jump into what unfolded, drop a comment telling me where you are watching from right now. Smash that like button and subscribe, because what I am about to share regarding family betrayal and finally choosing to fight back could shift how you view the holidays forever. Now let me walk you through how one Christmas celebration exposed the reality of my entire family. My name is Quentin. I am 34 years old, working as a software engineer here in Portland, Oregon. My days involve long stretches, writing code, fixing bugs, creating systems most folks would find boring or confusing. Yet the toughest challenge I ever faced was not something I could debug or program. It was dealing with my own family and their unspoken expectations, rules I never signed up to obey. Diana, my wife, walked out 2 years back. She abandoned Leo and me for someone else. A man who had more wealth, more appeal, more of whatever she decided I was missing. She relocated to California and cut off all contact, stopped phoning, stopped texting, stopped being a mother altogether. So I stepped into both roles. I figured out how to braid hair, though my attempts looked terrible. I mastered cooking mac and cheese exactly how Leo wanted it, loaded with butter and a topping of crunchy breadcrumbs. I learned to be there, to be present, to be the parent my boy needed. Raising a child alone drained my finances. Daycare expenses devoured my salary. Medical invoices stacked up. And beyond all that, I was keeping my parents afloat. Every month without missing, once I transferred $2,000 to them. That money handled their mortgage payments, their utility bills, their grocery shopping, their entire comfortable lifestyle. My father, Frank, had retired at 63 following a minor heart incident. My mother, Patricia, never held a job outside the home. They relied entirely on me, and I never questioned it once. That is what devoted sons do, correct? They support their aging parents no matter what. For 5 solid years, I had been their financial foundation. I sat down and calculated everything. One sleepless night. $120,000 total. That was the amount I had handed over to them. I held no regrets about it. They were my parents, after all. They brought me into this world and raised me. They earned a peaceful retirement in my mind. But tension always existed within our family, an undercurrent flowing beneath every holiday meal, every phone conversation, every visit to their house. That tension had a face and a name. Lydia, my younger sister. She was 29 years old and still trying to figure out her path in life, as my mother constantly phrased it. Lydia had 3 children from 2 separate relationships. Madison was 9 years old, Hunter was 7, and Chloe was 5. They were wonderful kids, every single one of them. But Lydia faced constant struggles. She bounced between part-time positions that never lasted beyond a few months, survived on government assistance programs, and depended massively on our parents for money and support. I never held any resentment toward Lydia for her difficulties. Life throws hard punches at everyone. I understood that reality. What gnawed at me was the massive difference in how my parents treated her versus how they treated me. Lydia could do absolutely nothing wrong in their eyes. When she came up short on rent money, they covered it immediately. When she needed childcare help, they canceled their own plans to watch her kids. When she made questionable choices, they justified every single one with excuses. Meanwhile, I exhausted myself working endless hours, raised my son completely alone, wired them money religiously every month, and received nothing except more expectations and demands in return. Leo adored his cousins deeply. He asked about them nonstop. "When can we hang out with Madison? Is Hunter allowed to visit our house? How come Chloe never comes over to play?" I invented reasons and excuses each time. Lydia was too busy. The kids had scheduled activities. But the actual truth was far simpler and much sadder. Lydia rarely brought her children to my place. She never offered any explanation for it. Perhaps she imagined I would criticize her parenting. Perhaps jealousy ate at her because I had stability while her life felt chaotic. I will never truly know her reasoning. Then that phone call happened. It was a Friday night exactly 1 week before Christmas Day. I stood in my kitchen, preparing spaghetti for dinner, watching Leo color pictures at the kitchen table. He was drawing a snowman wearing a fancy top hat and a carrot nose. My phone vibrated on the counter. Mom calling. I answered while stirring the pasta pot, expecting her to ask what food dish I planned to contribute to the party. Her voice came through cold and measured. "Quentin, I need to discuss the Christmas party with you." I kept stirring the boiling water, balancing my phone between my shoulder and ear. "Sure, Mom. What is going on?" She paused for several seconds, and within that silence I sensed something shifting dramatically. This year we want a calmer gathering, something more mature and refined. No children allowed. I stopped stirring immediately. The steam rose up between Leo and me as he hummed a cheerful Christmas tune. "I am sorry, what did you just say?" "No children," she repeated slowly as though I had not clearly heard her the first time. "Your father and I have made our decision that we prefer a more adult-centered event this year. Children create noise and mess everywhere. We want to actually relax and enjoy ourselves for once." But Mom, Leo has been counting down the days for weeks now. He created a homemade card for you. She released a long sigh, the type of sigh that communicated I was being unreasonable and difficult. "I understand your feelings, Quentin. However, this is our final decision. It cannot be changed." My grip tightened hard around my phone. "What about Lydia's 3 kids, Madison, Hunter, and Chloe? Where will they be?" "Lydia will not be bringing them either," she stated quickly. Far too quickly. I recognized that particular tone immediately. That was the exact tone she always used when lying or deliberately leaving out critical information. "Okay then," I responded carefully. "If that is truly what you both want." "It is exactly what we want," she confirmed sharply. "We will see you on Christmas Day. Just you alone." The phone line went dead. I stood frozen, holding my phone, staring blankly at the bubbling pot of pasta water. Leo glanced up at me with innocent eyes. "Dad, Grandma said I can come to the party, right?" I forced my face into a smile, the kind of painful smile that makes your cheeks ache. "Buddy, I think we might celebrate our own special Christmas this year. Just the two of us together." His face collapsed into sadness. "But I made a card for Grandma already. I have been practicing singing Jingle Bells every single day. I know, Leo. I know you have, sweetheart. But sometimes plans change unexpectedly." He started weeping, big tears streaming down his small cheeks, and I scooped him up into my arms, holding him tight while the pasta water boiled over onto the stove and steam filled our entire kitchen. That night, I could not fall asleep no matter how hard I tried. I lay flat in my bed, staring up at the dark ceiling, replaying our phone conversation over and over, attempting to make sense of why my mother would deliberately exclude Leo, yet had been so insistent on mentioning that Lydia would not bring her children either. Something felt deeply wrong about the entire situation. Christmas morning arrived, freezing cold but beautifully bright. Leo woke up before dawn, still excited despite everything that had happened. We opened presents together in our small living room. I had gotten him the superhero action figures he had been begging for, a shiny new bike, and a stack of adventure books. He seemed happy opening each gift, but I could see the unasked question burning in his eyes. "Are we going to visit Grandma and Grandpa today?" I made my decision right then. "Yes, buddy. Let us stop by their house for a short visit." His entire face exploded with joy, and my heart shattered all over again, knowing what might be waiting for us. I gathered up the expensive gifts I had purchased for my parents weeks earlier. A luxurious cashmere sweater for my mother that had cost nearly $200. A high-quality leather wallet for my father with his initials engraved on it. In the car during our drive, Leo sang Jingle Bells completely off-key, clutching tightly to the handmade card he had colored so carefully. I drove slowly through the quiet neighborhood streets, decorated with colorful lights and giant inflatable Santa displays, my stomach churning and twisting with each passing mile. We pulled up to my parents' house just before 11 o'clock in the morning. It was a modest 2-story suburban home with white siding and blue shutters, the exact house I had been helping them afford for years. I could hear voices drifting from inside before I even reached the front door. Children's voices specifically, high-pitched laughter, excited screaming, the unmistakable sound of kids running wild and playing games. I froze completely on the front porch step. Leo tugged hard on my hand. "Dad, I thought you said there were no kids allowed." "Me too, buddy. I thought the exact same thing." I knocked firmly on the door. My father, Frank, opened it slowly, and every bit of color drained instantly from his face. "Quentin, oh. I thought, I thought you were not planning to come by until much later in the afternoon." I looked directly past him into the house interior. Madison sprinted across the hallway chasing after Hunter, who was laughing hysterically. Little Chloe sat cross-legged on the carpet playing with a brand new baby doll still in its packaging. The Christmas tree was absolutely massive, covered entirely in twinkling lights and handmade ornaments. Mountains of presents sat wrapped underneath it with enormous shiny bows on top. The whole house smelled incredible, like fresh cinnamon rolls and pine needles. It looked like a perfect Christmas movie scene. Leo pulled on my jacket sleeve. "Dad, you promised me there would be no kids here today." My mother, Patricia, appeared suddenly in the hallway behind my father, her face flushed bright red. "Quentin, I specifically told you not to bring him here." I stared directly at her without blinking. "You told me absolutely no children would be here. So, what exactly is this situation I am looking at right now?" She fumbled awkwardly, searching for words. "Well, you see, Lydia did not have anyone available to watch them today, so we made a special exception this one time." A special exception. I repeated those words slowly, letting their bitterness sit heavy on my tongue. "For Lydia's 3 kids, but not for Leo, my own son, your own grandson." "It is a completely different situation," my father interjected, firmly stepping beside my mother in the doorway. "You have to understand that, son." "How exactly is it different?" I asked, feeling my voice rising sharply. "How is this situation any different at all? Leo is your grandson, too. He is 6 years old. He spent hours making you a special card. He has been looking forward to this day for weeks and weeks." My mother crossed both arms tightly across her chest. "Quentin, please do not create a scene in front of everyone. Those children need this celebration far more than Leo does. They do not have much of anything. They deserve to be here today with us. Leo has everything he needs already." Deserve. That single word hung suspended in the air like toxic smoke filling my lungs. Lydia emerged casually from the kitchen doorway holding a wine glass filled to the brim, wearing what looked like an expensive new dress. I strongly suspected my parents had just bought for her. "Oh, Quentin, you actually decided to show up after all." Her voice dripped with mockery and amusement. "Yes, I came," I stated flatly, keeping my voice as level as possible, "because my son was invited to his own grandparents' Christmas party." Except apparently he was not actually invited at all, was he? My father placed his hand heavily on my shoulder. "Son, you really need to understand our reasoning here. These 3 kids do not have any father figure in their lives whatsoever. They do not have anything close to the stability that Leo has with you. This Christmas means so much more to them than it possibly could to Leo." I shrugged his hand off roughly. "So because I am actually doing my job properly as a father, because I am providing a stable and loving home for my son, he gets punished for it. Is that what you are telling me?" My mother made an exasperated sound. "Nobody is punishing anyone here, Quentin. You are being completely dramatic about this. Leo is perfectly fine. He has you as a father. He has a nice, comfortable home. He does not need this party. But these kids desperately do. Those children deserve this special Christmas. We want to give them something they will remember forever." I looked around the entire room one more time. Every single present stacked under that enormous Christmas tree had a gift tag attached. Madison's name, Hunter's name, Chloe's name, over and over again. Not a single wrapped present had Leo's name written on it. Not even one small gift. That was the final straw that broke everything. Lydia actually laughed out loud. "Quentin, do not be so overly sensitive about everything. Your kid will be totally fine. He has got everything he could possibly need already. My kids do not have anything. That is the huge difference here. You have plenty of money. I have nothing. So mom and dad are just helping me out like good parents should." There it was finally, the complete truth laid out bare in front of me. My parents had not excluded Leo because they genuinely wanted some quiet adult gathering. They excluded him entirely because they were actively prioritizing Lydia's 3 children over mine, because Lydia supposedly needed more help and support. Because I was successful and independent and stable, so apparently I did not matter nearly as much to them. I bent down and picked Leo up into my arms. "We are leaving right now." Leo started crying hard. "But Dad, I really want to stay here and play." "I know you do, buddy, but we are not wanted in this house." "Quentin," my mother snapped harshly. "Do not you dare walk out that door. You are making this entirely about yourself when it should be about these precious children who desperately need love and support and attention." I turned slowly to face her directly, feeling Leo's tears soaking straight through my shirt. "No, Mom. This is about you choosing which grandchildren actually matter to you. And apparently mine does not matter at all." I walked straight out that front door. My father called my name repeatedly, but I refused to stop moving. I buckled Leo carefully into his car seat while he sobbed uncontrollably. I drove us home with tears burning in my own eyes, gripping the steering wheel so intensely hard that my knuckles turned completely white. That was the precise moment when everything changed forever in my life. That was the exact moment I realized I had been funding my own complete irrelevance to my family for 5 straight years. We spent the remainder of Christmas Day, just the two of us alone together. I made homemade pizza from scratch, using Leo's favorite toppings. We watched animated holiday movies and drank steaming mugs of hot chocolate with marshmallows floating on top. I let him open one extra present I had secretly hidden in the back of my closet. By evening time, he was smiling again, displaying that amazing resilience children somehow possess. But I could not forget what happened. I could not let it go or move past it. After Leo finally fell asleep in his bed, I sat alone at my kitchen table with my laptop open and pulled up my complete bank statements. 5 full years of electronic transactions stared back at me. $2,000 transferred like clockwork every single month without fail, sent directly to my parents' account. Sometimes even more when they claimed to have some emergency situation. A broken furnace that needed replacing. Unexpected car repairs. Annual property tax bills. I had been their safety net, their financial insurance policy, their entire retirement fund, $120,000 in total. I thought carefully about where all that money had actually gone over the years. Some of it definitely went to my parents' expenses, absolutely. But I knew deep down that a massive portion of it had trickled steadily down to Lydia. Her rent payments when she came up short. Grocery money when her benefits ran out. Money for her kids' new clothes and toys and school supplies. I had been indirectly supporting my sister's entire lifestyle, while she made absolutely zero effort to stand on her own 2 feet and support herself. And this was how they all repaid my generosity and sacrifice, by telling my 6-year-old son he was not worthy of being included in Christmas. The next morning, December 26th, I called my parents' house. My mother answered on the second ring, her voice immediately sharp and accusatory. "Quentin, what you did yesterday, walking out like that, was completely unacceptable. You embarrassed us terribly in front of Lydia and the children." I did not let her finish that sentence. "I am calling to inform you of something important, Mom. Starting next month, I will no longer be sending you any money whatsoever." Complete silence filled the phone line. Then finally, "What did you just say to me?" "You heard me perfectly clearly. I am done. For 5 straight years, I have sent you $2,000 every single month like clockwork. That totals $120,000. I did it because I love you both, because I wanted to help my parents. But you do not respect me as your son. You do not respect my son as your grandson. That is your responsibility as our son," she shouted into the phone. "You are supposed to take care of your parents. That is what good children do. And you are supposed to love all your grandchildren equally." I shot back firmly, "But you clearly do not do that. You made it crystal clear yesterday that Leo does not matter nearly as much as Lydia's 3 kids. So I am making it crystal clear right now that I will not continue funding a family that treats my son like he is worthless and less than." My father grabbed the phone away from her. "Quentin, listen to me carefully. We absolutely cannot afford the mortgage payments without your monthly help. We will lose the house completely. Then I guess you will have to downsize to something more affordable, Dad. Or perhaps you should ask Lydia to contribute some money for once. She is your daughter too, after all. Maybe she can actually get herself a full-time job and help out financially. But I am completely done being the only family member who sacrifices everything. You are being incredibly selfish, my mother screamed loudly in the background. Selfish, I actually laughed, a harsh, bitter sound. I have given you absolutely everything I have. My time, my money, my unconditional support. And you could not even let my son spend one Christmas day with his own grandparents because you decided Lydia's kids needed it more. That is not real love, Mom. That is pure manipulation. I hung up the phone. For the next 7 days straight, my phone would not stop ringing constantly. My mother called crying and begging me desperately to reconsider my decision. Lydia called screaming at me, accusing me of ruining Christmas, of being cruel and heartless, of abandoning the entire family in their time of need. My father called multiple times trying to negotiate and offering compromises that ultimately meant nothing substantial. I did not answer most of their calls. When I occasionally did pick up, I repeated the exact same thing every single time. Apologize sincerely to Leo. Treat him with genuine respect and equality. Or, I am completely done with all of you. But they absolutely would not do it. My mother insisted stubbornly she had done nothing wrong whatsoever. Lydia actually posted on social media about what a terrible son I was, how I had abandoned my elderly parents who needed me. Some distant relatives I barely knew called to lecture me extensively about family loyalty and obligations. But a few people, specifically my uncle and aunt on my father's side, called to tell me they completely supported my decision. They had watched my parents favor Lydia unfairly for many years. They were genuinely glad someone finally stood up to them. In early January, I received a brief text message from my father. We had to put the house on the market. We are moving to a smaller apartment next month. I felt a sharp pang of guilt pierce through me, but I absolutely did not waver in my decision. I replied simply and clearly, I am sorry it came to this outcome, but I cannot keep supporting people who do not value my son. Lydia posted yet another angry rant online about how I had single-handedly ruined the entire family, how I was heartless and cold, how I valued money over family bonds. The irony was almost laughable. I had valued family more than anything. That was precisely why I had given them so much for so long, but they only valued what I could provide financially, not who I actually was as a person or who my son was. Then, in early February, my phone rang again, displaying Mom on the screen. I almost did not answer it, but something made me pick up on the last ring. Her voice sounded completely different this time, softer, broken, vulnerable. Quentin, your father and I have been talking extensively. We have been doing enormous amounts of thinking and reflecting. I waited silently, saying nothing. We were wrong. She started crying genuine tears. We were terribly wrong about Christmas. We were wrong about how we treated Leo. We have been wrong for a very long time about many things. We favored Lydia constantly because we felt sorry for her situation, but we hurt you deeply in the process. We hurt Leo even more, and we are truly sorry for all of it. I closed my eyes slowly, feeling something crack wide open inside my chest. My father took the phone from her. Son, we genuinely want to make this right. We want to see Leo regularly. We want to be better grandparents to him. We do not expect you to give us money again. We just want one chance to fix this damage. I took a long, deep breath. I need substantial time to think about that possibility. They agreed immediately without argument. And for the first time in many months, I felt like maybe, just possibly maybe, there could be a path forward. But it would be entirely on my terms from now on, not theirs. In March, I finally agreed to let my parents see Leo again. But I established firm conditions first. We met at a public park on neutral ground. No Lydia present. No other kids around. Just my parents, Leo, and myself. My mother brought a gift with her, a brand new bicycle with colorful training wheels attached. My father played catch with Leo in the grass, laughing warmly when Leo missed the ball completely. Leo was cautious and guarded at first, still remembering the hurt from Christmas. But children possess the ability to forgive faster than adults ever can. By the end of that afternoon, he was hugging his grandparents tightly, showing them the crayon drawing he had made in school that week. I watched everything carefully from a park bench, arms crossed protectively, still extremely guarded. My mother came and sat beside me quietly. "I know you do not trust us yet," she said in a soft voice. "I do not blame you one bit for feeling that way. But we really are trying our absolute best now." I nodded slowly. "Actions matter, Mom, not just words and promises." "I know that," she whispered. "I completely understand." After that initial meeting, we started getting together every 2 weeks on a regular schedule. My parents gradually learned to respect boundaries properly. They asked politely before making any plans involving Leo. They included him in everything they did. They stopped making endless excuses for Lydia's behavior and choices. I never went back to sending them $2,000 every single month, but I did help when it genuinely made sense. I paid for my father's expensive medication when insurance would not cover it. I hired a mechanic to fix their car when it broke down. I gave them gift cards for groceries during tight months. But everything was on my terms now, and they clearly understood and accepted that new reality. As for Lydia, I maintained significant distance from her. I did not hate her as a person. I simply stopped allowing her to take advantage of me anymore. I stopped enabling her constant excuses and poor decisions. She remained angry with me for quite a while, but eventually, she stopped calling entirely. Leo grew up knowing he was genuinely valued and loved. I taught him that respect is never optional, that real love means consistently showing up, that money cannot ever buy dignity or self-worth. I taught him that sometimes you must walk away from people you love deeply in order to protect yourself. He learned that standing up for yourself is not selfish behavior. It is absolutely necessary for survival. I learned something crucial too. I learned that I had been so consumed with trying to be a good, dutiful son that I completely forgot to protect my own child properly. I learned that family is not simply about blood relation or obligation. It is about mutual respect and genuine love and showing up in ways that truly matter. I learned that you teach people exactly how to treat you by what you choose to accept from them. And I had been accepting being treated as second best for far too long. Looking back now at everything, I do not regret my decision whatsoever. I stood up firmly for my son when absolutely no one else would. I taught him that respect is never negotiable, that love without respect is just manipulation and control. My parents learned an incredibly hard lesson, and honestly, so did I. Sometimes the most loving thing you can possibly do is to stop enabling bad behavior patterns. Sometimes you must walk away entirely to teach people your true worth. And sometimes the family you choose to protect is simply you and your child standing together against the entire world. That is enough. That has always been more than enough. Now I want to hear directly from you. Have you ever had to stand up firmly to family members who treated you unfairly? Have you ever walked away from people you loved because they refused to respect you? Drop your personal story in the comments section below. And if this story resonated deeply with you, smash that like button right now, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who desperately needs to hear this message. Your support means absolutely everything to me. Thank you sincerely for listening to my story, and I genuinely hope it reminds you that your worth is never measured by what you give away, but rather by how you allow yourself to be treated. Take excellent care of yourself and the people who truly matter in your life. I wish you all a meaningful Christmas, even if it arrives a little late.